Hey guys, what's happening? Today, this video will be a little bit different than usual. I wanted to share basically the reason behind this channel and also share just a little bit more about myself. I wanted to make this channel almost as a success log and something where I can share my own journey to living a life full of, fulfillment, so that I can look back on it and remember what the journey was like, as well as hopefully share my mistakes and successes with you guys so that your timeline to desired outcomes will be greatly shortened. And I think a lot of people are in similar situations to me, so this should be pretty relevant and valuable. Just like a lot of other people today, I've been stuck in the matrix myself and trying to get out of it. I thought, I followed the rules to success that everyone told me about, and I just ended up miserable, to be honest with you. I wanted to win at life and be happy with nice cars and live wherever I want with the freedom to travel all over the world and, just practice what I love all the time. But, I have so many hobbies and I want to master them all. I wanted things like respect and status and for people to be looking up to me, just like a lot of other people do. To get all that stuff and more, I basically listened to what everyone around me told me to do to a T. They told me to get good grades in high school so that I can go to a good college. Did that, They said, you've excelled in math and science, go be an engineer or a doctor. Went and did that. I went to school for engineering. They said, work for a big company to get lots of pay and resources. Did that, worked for one of the big 3 U.S. automakers. I thought that others held all the answers, but all of my successes just led to a feeling of emptiness and longing for more. It turns out that very few people actually know how to win. And I know that because I followed their advice and just felt like a failure, even if it was a success by society's terms. So I had a lot of good conversations with my friends that I was going to school with that related to a lot of my struggles, and they agreed that there had to be another way. Through these conversations, we tried to ideate, how to escape the matrix and what was currently preventing us from doing so. We determined that there were a couple things that were really holding us back at the time, and there's like 3 main ones, which was the current narrative of success, the impact of intrinsic versus extrinsic motivators, and the current consumerism system and large corporations, basically. And we thought about what it'd be like tied down to a job that we hated for the rest of our lives until we grew old and retired. And for me, the idea of just looking forward to the weekends, to escaping or, vacations, that just made me sick. I couldn't deal with a life like that. A life like that with little free time and giving the majority of my time away to the corporations sucking the life out of me is not a life worth living. To me, that's just me. But, I already knew what misery felt like because I've spent over a year doing it. It was waking up to my alarm and dreading getting out of bed in the morning, walking to my car in freezing temperatures just to go to a job I hated. And once at the job, my brain would just constantly think about the next time I didn't have to do the pointless tasks I was asked to do. I'd look forward to lunch just so I could leave the office. But unfortunately, after lunchtime came the extreme fatigue, and then I was trapped in an office and I couldn't take a nap or, go for a run or hit a workout or anything like that. I just felt trapped. Being in a job where I feel trapped without the freedom is, I basically can't even describe it, but it doesn't feel good. So for me, a lot of things mentally at least started to change when my friend gave me 2 books when I was in college. One was called Rich Dad Poor Dad, and the other one was 4 Hour Work Week. These 2 books completely changed the way I saw things. Looking back now, these books, what they say are pretty simple, but that's kind of the beauty of them, honestly. Those were the first 2 books that I had read outside of school for as long as I could remember. But they made me hungry to learn more. I met with one of my friends and we decided to learn as much as we possibly could about the winning at life art, or whatever you want to call it, and what that even meant. We decided to document literally everything that we learned so that we could share it with others and so that they didn't have to struggle as much as we did during the process. We called this little adventure science because as engineers, we look to bring the scientific method into investigating the psyche. I was just so excited to pursue something that I genuinely cared about and controlled the direction of. Really, we try to go all the way back to square one and not make any assumptions about what a good life might look like. We approached it with a first principles mindset and tried to start ideating good building blocks for a good life. We read as much as we possibly could at the time and talked to experts in many different areas to get a multidisciplinary perspective. I remember one conversation being especially helpful, and it was when my philosophy professor and I actually talked about intrinsic motivators. We thought about what common intrinsic motivators were for people by doing a 5 whys exercise where basically he'd give me a thought experiment and ask why 5 times to get to the bedrock of what is truly valuable. And with his obviously already existing abundance of knowledge, we kind of discovered a couple main pillars that are almost always intrinsically valuable to people. I will put a disclaimer, not always, of course, but the 3 that stuck out to us were physical health, autonomy, and growth. Those really seem to be really important building blocks for people. And since my friends and I are all engineers, we try to be super analytical about stuff like this. And through this, we've developed basically a certain framework that takes things from a first principles approach and applies it to the challenges in life, hopefully making success faster and easier. This framework has already provided a lot of success to me so far, but we're still tweaking and modifying it. As much as I would like to say that I won and here's how I did it, I couldn't say that because that'd be a lie. I'm still a work in progress and we're still making modifications. And that's a core reason that I wanted to make this channel, again, is to track my progress and hopefully demonstrate the efficacy of the framework that my classmates and I have built, but also share it with you guys and hopefully greatly accelerate your timeline to living a life that you want to. As complicated as life seems at times, it's built from very small, simple parts. And through our research, we've started to get a better understanding of the levers that we can play with in life, almost like a game. And for myself, I'm not anywhere near where I want to be. And because of this, I feel a pretty big sense of discomfort in my life, but because of the deeper understanding that we've gained, I at least know why and know where to focus my attention to solve it. So I hope to eventually inspire others and help you guys on your own personal journeys through this, and I'm always open to learning more information myself. So definitely hit the comments and let me know what you guys think about how this reality is really built. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it.